And good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back into the Dragon's Den. My name's Digital Dragon. I'm a 3D printing variety streamer here on Twitch, YouTube. I'm also a new store owner. Own Digital Dragon 3D out in Sanford, North Carolina. In the area, wanted to get the announcement out there that we will have our first maker meetup here on March 1st. That is a Sunday. It's going to run from noon to 7 p.m. We're going to have some initial mingling and stuff. People can bring their projects, show off their projects. We will have a little bit of a talk and discussion focusing on material choice considerations, especially since we've had quite a few people coming into the store that are looking at printers and materials to use for like RC cars and trucks and stuff. So just wanted to get that a little bit out of the way. Have a feeling it's going to be a little slow to start today. This is a lot earlier than I'm normally streaming on a weekday, and it's President's Day. I'm streaming because I'm off. I know not everybody else will be off, but hopefully you get the notification you can join in from work without getting in trouble. No need to get in trouble. Thank you, everybody, for being here. And with that, we're going to go ahead and get started. So where we left off on stream yesterday, it was yesterday, we had built each one of our vertical legs. I did go ahead off stream and lubricate our rails and mount our rails. We did this on all three A, B, and C verticals. And we did that with the use of some printed 9mm, MGN 9 spacer blocks or alignment blocks for 2020s. So I just printed this out in some black ABS, and we got those going. I also printed out the one tool that I forgot to print out. This will be used for configuring our arms a little bit later on. First thing they tell you to do is probably going to be one of the last things that we do over here. It wants us to use epoxy, and I keep forgetting to bring the epoxy from the house. So, kind of where we're at. So let me jump over to our browser window, bring up our bench view maybe. Oh, gotta love one. Off, up, hit on. Alrighty. So what we're going to be looking at now is we're going to start installing the panel covers. And these are going to cover up the vertical extrusions on each side. Hey, Eagle the Dragon, welcome on in. Hope you're doing well today. Whoop, that's someone. So what we're going to do is we're going to use two M5 by 10 for each panel section. There's going to be two of these panel sections that go on each side. This one specifically has to be at the bottom edge of one of them so it can have that magnet for, I believe, the door closure. So we'll go ahead and do that. So we'll get out our M5 by 10 screws. And of course, we'll need the M5 hammerhead nuts as well to do this. Attach the 4 panel pieces on each upright using 2 M5 by 10 on each panel, but do not attach the 2 front corner panels on the B corner. These are attached later after using the door hinges. The front lower panel cover on the A upright has a hole for a magnet. Okay, so that kind of tells us what's what. So we've got our A or X upright, and just based on how these lay out, if we have to be on the lower front, it's got to be this one right here. So that's the side that it's going to be lined up with. So I'm just going to set this on its side here. We'll go ahead and get a screw and a T-nut lined up and ready to go. And bear with me 1 second. I just heard a spool get knocked over. And I also need to get my drivers. This wasn't a spool knockover. This is tangled filament on the spool. So bear with me as I try and solve this conundrum. And of course, this is happening on a test print on a customer's machine using the spool of filament that they provided. Well, this is just very poorly wound filament. See if we can buy us some time here. That should hopefully buy us a little bit of time. Very, very poorly wound, and I'll say probably some old filament as well that would be in need of some drying, but we're working with it. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to preload our M5x10 screws with some T-nuts. And these are the hammerhead style T-nuts. And this will be down at the bottom, and we'll need another one for the top edge. And if you remember, we were originally told to leave the bottom loose when we attached it, even though I did tighten mine down. And that's probably to allow us to install these and then flush up the bottoms with it. So, T-nuts in there. Make sure that that's on there nicely. And I did snug that up to the edge, and it does look like we're going to have room to get this in there. So that's good. And I'm just kind of trying to push everything up on the edge here. I'm just trying to look for alignment in the pieces. We'll come over and do this side. Same type of thing. We'll work from the top down so we can make sure that we get our spacing right, and then we'll most likely tighten the lower leg or loosen it, push it up against these pieces, and tighten it down. So how are you doing today, Eagle? Hopefully you're doing well. Hey, Pete, how's it going, my friend? Hope you're healing up well. Hopefully you are healing up well. Yep, we'll be seeing you soon in North Carolina there, buddy. PT is pleased with how it's going. Good. Good. Okay, so this once again is the A pillar, which based on where the magnet is, this is going to be like the front window side. So on our B pillar, remember it said the two front corner panels of on the B will get attached later. So right, that's confusing. So this doesn't go here. Go over here. So I need to switch these two panels. That doesn't. All right, well. I'm glad PT is happy with your progress. That's good. A lot of times, we look at PT as being, like equivalent to Satan, but definitely listen to PT. Their goal is to get you back up and running, so. Okay. So it's there then, the lower one, but it's in the upper right on that lower side. Now means BY over here. We're not going to put the sides on here because we'll have to do door hinges. So we're going to start off and just do these two sides here. Hey, Waters, how's it going? The Delta's doing good. We even got one of the FlashForge Creator 2s up and running. Since we're going to be doing a brain transplant on one that was functioning just fine, it's just it doesn't support some of the things the individual wants to do at the printer, and we're going to be rebraining it. I just grabbed his board, tried it out in the other one. It works, so we're going to roll with that one. And now I need to CAD up a mount for a different board to go on the other one. Okay. Come on down. I'll be here. We're just waiting on the FedEx to show up. Figured I'd stream for a little bit while we're waiting. I've got test prints going on the customer's printer that we just fixed, the Creator 2. The Robo R1 is fixed and up and running, and yeah, we're doing pretty good. Just relaxing, enjoying a day off from the rat race. Do they support reverse printing or reverse mounting? Which one are you referring to, Y or X? I believe Y does. I have to double check. All right, give me 1 second. I'm hearing filament do crazy things again. Now, like I said, one of them does. The front motor's mounting from top to bottom. Trying to look at mine right now. I don't know. So she's losing print volume at the front. Is she not using the, because I'm assuming this is on, I guess, let me not assume, is this on a standard 2.4 or a cell changer? Ah, yes. If they're running Zoll, they're going to have to do some craziness. And I want to say there is a reverse mount because of Zoll. But don't hold me to it because I'm not running Zoll. And I've never run Zoll, so I don't know what all the idiosyncrasies are for Zoll. Yeah, I think Golden has done a Zolls. Hey, Penguin Makers, how's it going? You made it. You made it. How's it going, Big Jano? Long time no see. Long time no see. All righty. I think we're good there. So we got A, B, and C. Now you can make sure that all your uprights are the same length. So what we can do is we'll loosen these. Make sure it's all kind of compressed down a bit. Tighten up. Yep. Waters is Noah. All right. There's one. Grab our B and we'll do the same thing. Just be careful because you don't have it on both sides. So when you're pushing it down on the one side. I'll keep you nice and tight. Not much of a gap, but there is a slight gap here. So this will just let us drop down that like 1/4 to 1/2 millimeter. Keep all of our uprights the same. There we go. Now it wants us to install the carriages and the belt system. Quick gander over here at YouTube. And Noah's over there as well. Thanks for showing the love on both platforms there, Noah. We're going to use 3 M3x6 screws. And we're going to attach our carriages. We'll have A, B, and C sitting here. We're going to need our 3 carriages and M3x6. Looks like button heads. Yeah, I'm still trying to decide which tool to use to kind of collapse my chats down into one. So for now, I'm jumping back and forth. So a good rule of thumb here is leave some wiggle room to your carriages until you get all 3 or 4 or in this case 3 screws in there, and then you can start cranking down on them. You just want to make sure that you've got good alignment between them. Well, we started the build yesterday. So not too long to build so far. There is a little bit of difficulty because of the views that we're getting. We're getting the, they're using the I'll say like the X-ray vision view, as you can see in this one. And it makes it a little difficult. And then in some places it's showing button head screws, but in that size you're only given socket head screws. So throws you a little bit here and there, but not too bad overall. You're going to start building the Baby Belt Pro on Wednesday. Nice, Waters. Are you going to stream it? Are you going to stream it? Probably not. All right. All right. So we've got a few more people here. So now that everybody's here, our first maker meetup here at Digital Dragon 3D is going to be Sunday, March 1st. So Sunday, March 1st, we're going to have our first maker meetup. We are going to have a topic that we'll discuss during that maker meetup, which will be material considerations. So we'll be talking about why you would choose one material over another and what the properties of those materials would be like. So if you're interested and you have time, it is a Sunday. If you're in the local area, please come on by. They want us to cut each belt to 690 millimeters. Okay. Using the apex clips, fasten the belt tensioner, pull the tensioner into the carriage, apex clip down, and route the belt down around the pulley, back up through the carriage, around the top idler, and back into the carriage attached with another apex. Okay, that doesn't look hard at all. Let me grab a long measuring device. Because I did bring the meter stick from the house, and we're going to need that because we're going to need to measure 690 millimeters, and then we'll just make 3 different versions of it. Back these out of the way. And belt material. Not 100% sure of the schedule yet, but I would like it to be monthly. Yeah, Sunday the 1st. Sorry about that, folks. Yeah, so Sunday the 1st is going to be our first maker meetup. And I probably should have grabbed a pair of snips while I was over here grabbing the meter sticks. Let me grab some snips. Said 690. Go right there. Yeah, we're thinking about, you know, we really want to do it monthly, but we're once again, with everything, we're trying to gauge our audience and the environment here. So like I said, the reason we're picking the topic we are picking for our first one is because we've had quite a few people here in the RC community. Apparently there's a few tracks around the area. So a lot of people here are running 128 or Z cars or other RC vehicles in the area, and they're printing bodies and stuff like that. So everybody's asking for specific, what are material properties, this, that, and everything else. So we figured that would be a good topic to start with. Okay, and then we need the little clips and the tensioners. Which I had those printed, and I knew exactly where they were. And now I don't, which is par for the course for a Digital Dragon stream, as we move things around all the time. Oh. We're going to need these parts. I don't know what this is or who may have designed this thing that holds the HOTO and will mount on an open grid board. I need to print out my open grids, but that's the piece I still haven't done yet. But these will be our tensioner blocks, the little blocks. These are the apex clips that are going to go in and act like little wedges to hold the belt teeth in the grooves of the printed part. So using the apex clips, fasten the belt to the tensioner and put the tensioner in the carriage, apex clip down, route the belt down, up, down, and then use another apex clip. Okay, so that makes sense. So we're going to take one of these, and might be hard to see, but the side where we had the screw, that's the side that has the teeth. So we're going to take this and put it down the bottom and kind of work it into the teeth. And then we'll use an apex clip behind it to kind of squish it into the teeth and provide a very strong attachment point now. All right, so once again, the apex clip. So we're going to take our belt, I'm going to push it all the way in, pull it down against the printed teeth, put the apex clip in, push that down, and now we're locked in. So this piece gets pushed into the bottom, the side where there's no flag. The apex clip is going to be on the outside. The screw is going to be on the inside, so it aligns with that one heat set insert that we put in place. We're just going to push this into the gap. Comes down and through. Back up, so we're going around the pulley. Going to go through our carriage. through the top, and then back down. And this belt should now go back down into that piece, and we'll run another apex clip into it. So I'm going to try and get it relatively taut as far as overall tension goes to start with. And then we'll use the apex clip to hold it in place. Maybe. Go. Apex clip goes in. So we've got, I mean, we're not fully tensioned, but that's what the tension block is going to do there. Once we add a screw, is we'll start tensioning that down. That was C. This will be the B one. Do the same thing. We're going to hold our block with the screw facing down. We're going to put our belt with the teeth facing down in the gap, kind of push it down, grab an apex clip, drop it 2 or 3 times, and use the apex clip to lock that belt in. We'll take this with the apex clip on the outside and the screw hole on the inside. We'll work it into our carriage, just getting it flush with the end of the carriage. Belt goes down around the pulley. Back up. We need to go through the carriage. Through the top. Come back down. Get our belt kind of loosely held in there. Get a little tight. Use our next apex clip to lock it in. Come on. Come on now. Meat Paw is not wanting to meat paw right now. Scrape off the edge, make sure I don't have any like brim or anything left on this piece. There we go. That's secure. And then once again, we'll tighten up this block, and that'll give us our tension. C, B, A. Do this one last time. All right, sounds good, Waters. This is a pretty good belt routing mechanism, and these little apex clips, or just about any clip that locks into that belt and holds tension on that belt, is a really, really cool design. So I really like that. And if I remember right, we had left our pulleys loose, so we do need to make sure that we're actually on the pulley teeth and not riding on the side of the pulley like I was on this one. That might be why this was feeling a little looser. And with these apex clips, you should be able to get a squeeze on them and get them worked out if you need the retention like that. Okay, nice. Okay, now it's up. Just showing us how the belts go in there. Use an M3 by 30 screw to tension the belt to the carriage. You can now tighten the grub screws on the pulleys, making sure that all are aligned with the belt. Not over tension the belts initially. You can fine tune tension after the printer is assembled. So we need some M3 by 30 screws. We'll move this kind of down or up. So we'll be able to get in there with our driver to work on these. Not see why this is not linked up. Figure out what's going on here because the M3 is not lining up. And hoping it's not because there's some plastic from putting in the heat set insert that we didn't clear out earlier, because that means we'll have to figure out how to take out our block, clear that out. Seems to be going in this way with no issue. So tells me it's more of an alignment issue the other way. Dream Dust Devours parts. Yes, it does, Penguin Makers. Yes, it does. All right. Thanks for the lurk, Big Jano. Saw that you were taken off. I know it's during the workday for a lot of people, so. Why, oh, why are you not going? There we go. Like you said, we're not looking to make these super tight. We're just looking at getting them, begin the tensioning process. There we go. We'll also make sure that our belt is tracking properly in the pulley and not one side or the other. So normally what I'll do is I'll run this up and down and kind of see where it's aligning. And then we can move our pulley up or down some. Allow this to self-align. The goal is to get it to self-align right in the middle of the pulley so that it's not touching the bottom or the top. Because remember, your belts at the size that we use on these 6mm belts, they've been cut down from larger stock. And that cut may or may not be a consistent cut. Right, so it may have a spot in the belt where it kind of jumps out one way or the other. What you want to do is make sure that you're not going to have a rub point as it goes around an idler. And that it stays relatively center the whole way. That one's good. A is good. Other way. Right now, add. A little bit close so that we'll that back a little bit. Ease down. Move it through its motion and it'll help self-align it. Adjust it just a little bit further back. And this is why you check both sides, because I overcorrected. And now it's right up against the thick portion of the pulley. Okay, I can live with that. Okay. Hey, Spidey, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. It's a weird afternoon stream. I'm not working the other job today because it's a day for me. The kind of the mental health days that they've been giving us since the COVID hit. So just so happens to fall on President's Day, since we don't have President's Day as a holiday anymore. So I figured I got to be down here to get some deliveries anyhow, so we might as well make a little bit of progress on this build. And so what we're doing is doing the initial belt run and tension, and then I'm running it up and down a couple of times to see where the belt sits on the pulley. Because once again, we did not, we haven't secured our pulleys yet. So this gives us the ability to move our pulleys up and down the stack, see where the belt goes, and make sure that it's equidistant from the top and bottom, preferably. So it's not going to rub up against one or the other. Tighten these down. Run it full motion again. And just make sure that we're still seeing daylight on either side. This one's a little close to the upper, or this flange, but I am seeing daylight the whole way. So I think we're good. So there we go. We got A, B, and C done. Assemble the frame and install the bed. Oh, yay. We're going to be using M3 by 12 screws. Oh, there you go, Spidey. That was like me the other night. I was supposed to be streaming, and I laid down, I took some aspirin because my head was starting to hurt a little bit. And I laid down right here on the concrete floor to also stretch my back some before standing up. And that was it. Mrs. Dragon woke me up at 8 o'clock because she could finally wake me up at 8 o'clock. She'd been trying to wake me up since 7:30. Was like, okay, I'm leaving. If you're good to stream, then stream. If you want to come home now, come home now. And I said, I'm good right here. And I stayed on the ground and went back to sleep and woke up at 10 and drove home. So, yeah, listen to your body, folks. Okay, bolt the frame together. Remember to have the middle frame pieces without heat sets on the outside towards the front and top middle of the frame. Okay, so if we remember, AX, BY has no extrusions over here because that's the door. And then CZ is going to be at the back. Okay, so this facing me is now the front of the printer. So I should have no, what it's saying is the positions of the frame spacers, 2 of them don't have heat sets on the front face. Those are for the front of the printer. So that one has a heat set. That one has a heat set. This one has no heat set. So this is the one facing me. We'll put this on with M3x12. I've got button heads, not socket heads, so that's what we're going to use. That's the top one. I'm going to find the bottom one. Again, bottom one, nothing on the face there. I'm just going to go over here. So Spidey, you're just getting here, so I'll make the announcement. We've got it listed on the web page as an event, as well as Discord, and I believe it was posted to Facebook. If not, I will double check and make sure that it gets there. But Sunday, March 1st, is going to be our first official maker meetup here at Digital Dragon 3D. So we will be having a discussion on material selection and why you would choose one material over another. I've had quite a few people coming into the shop since we've opened around the RC car community and asking questions about both material and printers that can print certain materials. So we're going to have a conversation around material selection and why you would choose one material over another. Okay, so the front's done. This other one is going to get added on there now. I believe are the I'm trying to look and see if the, of course, don't show me anything that would show the rear 2 faces and whether, there we go, finally, we're down here another few pages and this finally shows me that my heat set is going to be at the top versus the bottom on these rear pieces. That kind of tells me how the top pieces get put in there, so I may have to swap one around now. Oh yeah. So I'll swap the other one around because the oh, words on stream are so hard sometimes. The piece in the back that's going to hold the top and bottom plates is offset. It's not equidistant. It's not right in the middle. So now that we know which way this one goes, we have to make sure that this one is aligned in the same way. This becomes easy because it can only go one way and hold up the bed. But the faces, or the face that does not have a I think you get where I'm going. I hope you do, because I've lost my train of thought. Hey Kenneth, how's it going? Yep, there you go. And I mean, that's the thing is RC car bodies can literally be printed in just about anything. But it's how much load is it going to take, right? Normally your RC car bodies can be printed out of PLA. You're just going to be replacing them a little bit more often, and they're not going to hold up to the like UV and stuff like that, right? But PLA is perfectly fine, especially if you plan on painting it, because you can do a UV clear coat over the top of it and give it the UV protection. And I may have to go on mute real fast because my FedEx guy just rolled up. So when I see him starting to walk this way, I will go on mute so that I can go take that delivery. 1 second, folks. Okay, folks, we are back. Sorry about that. We had to chat a little bit because there's some files for that he's trying to do for one of his Army buddies that we're going to have to help him out with. So once again, I'm going to have to take this top center piece off. We'll have to take this one off and flip it around because once again, these supports on the back are offset. They're not at the same height. So in order for all three of the tops to line up, we'll have to pop this off and flip it around. Yeah, but as far as talking about materials and stuff, you know, it's what to use where. We have a lot of people that are talking about, you know, can you do your own springs and stuff like that? And while I've seen people 3D print springs, I would probably say that's one of the components that's better to go and buy. And once again, that ledge is not equidistant. So we do have to flip this over and go the other direction so that it is aligned with the other two now that we know where the outer heat set should be sitting. But yeah, I was telling him that this Saturday we sold an H2D. We had a customer come in and see the one sitting there on the bench. He goes, "You guys sell the bamboos. Do you have any of the H2Ds?" And we're like, "Turn right around." You walked right past it. He's like, "Oh, wow, okay." And that was the end of the conversation. He bought it on the spot, right? So I'm like, awesome. And I was out back supporting the event that was going on at Wild Dogs, so I missed that sale. And then Sunday we had a young kid that came in with a Ender 3 flavor. I think it was a V2 by the looks of it. Had Comgrow stuff all over it. They had bought it secondhand from eBay. And I told them, yeah, this is probably at least third hand because if Comgrow's got their assemblage all over it, they are not an initial seller. They're a refurb center for Creality. So chances are this has been refurbed at least once. Somebody had it for a number of hours and sold it. And now you get to be the benefactor of it. And we wound up selling them an ADM5 Pro. The Pro being the fully enclosed version, and that is because once again he prints bodies and other parts for his RC cars and then paints them, and having the enclosure from the get-go gives them the ability to print other materials as it comes, right, as they grow. And I also told him, I was like, you know, whether you buy a printer from me or anybody else, you know, that's up to you. My suggestion is going to be, if you are using this as a tool for your RC hobby, you will want to get another printer. The Ender 3 can do some great prints, but you're going to be chasing those prints every 2 to 3 prints. So he was already talking about how he had prints that were printing just fine and getting about halfway, and then it starts printing like dog doo-doo. And I'm like, yeah, and that has to do with a bed slinger. As it builds the print, the weight on the bed changes, and now it's moving more weight back and forth. So you have to go even slower to keep that inertia from affecting your prints as you get taller, right? Also, quality of parts, right? These are LDO extrusions. I am pretty sure that these are straight, not twisted or warped. But the extrusions that you're getting in your Crealities, they twist, they warp, they bend. Because they're not paying for the quality to hit a price point, the same factories could be the one producing the LDO extrusions. The problem is LDO, or the difference is LDO's paying for the quality where Creality is not, or vendor X is not. Now, what I did tell them to do, because I did notice that Ender 3, 1, PTFE lined hot end, 2, it's got the plastic extruder, it's got, we'll just say it's been well loved and well used, right? Or well used and not well loved. So what I told them to do is, we're going to have a maker meetup scheduled soon. Go out and buy the extruder and buy, that's what was the CR Touch. He feels that he bent the pen in his CR Touch. Like, buy the extruder setup and the CR Touch setup off of Amazon. Print a new front Y belt tensioner and an X belt cable holder, or an X side cable holder. Like, you print those things, you buy those two things. What I'm going to tell you to do is come in on Maker Meetup rather than come in and pay for a bench fee. Like, because the bench fee is $75 for your first 2 hours and $60 an hour from there. And in 2 hours, you've basically negated any value you would have in this printer, right? Buy these couple of parts, come out on Maker Meetup Day, and me or somebody else during Maker Meetup Day will help you install those parts, show you how to do it so that you're aware and know how to do it. And we can get you squared away, basically. And then that way, you bought a good printer that's going to keep running, and you'll have your Ender as a backup. In case this one goes down, you've now got a backup. If this one's printing something and somebody needs something relatively quick, you can start it printing on the Ender, So yeah. Let's see. Attach the back left panel. I'm sorry, I went way ahead trying to figure out which way these go. Let's come back in here. We now have all of these with that rounded base lip facing up, because that's what we're going to attach our bed to. All of our motors were installed with the wires basically going into the right direction. So motor, wires go to the right. Motor, wires go to the right. Motor, wires are going to the right. Should make wiring easier since it didn't show us any orientation. We've got our magnet on this side, no side panels at all on this side. And everything's installed. We did the carriages and the belt system. We assembled the frame now that we know which way these go, because it doesn't really tell us. And attach, oh, this is make sure that you note the positions of the frame spacer. Two of them don't have a heat set on the front face. Those are for the front of the print. We did that. So here's those right here. So you're not seeing any heat set in these. How's it going, Kenneth? Welcome on in. Hey, Havoc. Hey, Penguin Makers over here. Sorry, I just I got kerfuffled with the FedEx guy coming in. So today we are making, still working on the Delta Flyer. We came in and we had our uprights ready to go. I had installed I had lubricated the carriages and installed the carriages off stream using some MGN9 alignment rails just to make sure that they stayed vertical to our extrusion. We installed the nanotube gray panel covers over the sides of the extrusion except for here, where it told us not to. We installed our 3 carriages and installed the belts using the belt tensioners and our, what do they call these? Havoc, whatever blocks. Basically holding the belts against a grooved part of the print. So we've got those installed. We just did our 3 middle sections to kind of bring everything together. We now have a printer frame. Okay, that's kind of where we're at. And then jumping back over here, where we're at is a comment made here about add the small sticky feet to the bottom of the frame. I don't know if I have sticky feet. Do I have sticky feet? I have NeoPixels, I have a SanDisk, I have rubber bands and magnets, a bed thermistor, on tube, but 6 pieces. That's what I'd be looking for. Be the 6 pieces of foot. We can set this over on its side. Now, with it giving me 6 of these little, like, I don't know, rubber feet, right? So we're obviously not going to put them right here, but what we're probably going to do is on each side, we'll stick these on there. And what this should do is give us 2 feet or 2 little, feet on each side. That will give us a good sturdy base to work from. And this linear rail, or this extrusion, is sitting proud of the printed part just a little bit, and this motor does sit proud of the printed part a little bit. So that's kind of why we've been a little wobbly up till now. So adding these feet and doing it on either side of the extrusion in the corner gives us a wide base and will help keep us nice and sturdy as the printer does its thing. Okay. We did that. I'm just trying to figure out where our front is now. We're a little sturdier there. I mean, we are also sitting it on a mat. Mrs. made early dinner. Nice. Dinner at 3:30. I'd make a comment there, but I would resemble that comment, so I'll keep that comment to myself, Spidey. Give me a second to look at my printers. I might have another completed part done. Almost. Almost. We're at 96% and 87%. So, okay, you guys ready for a sneak peek of a project? You guys ready? there's a small-ish project coming. When each of the parts is taking, 6 or 7 hours to complete, and there's, I don't know, 27 or 28 of them, 29 plates, yeah, small project is in the works. So we got the sticky feet to the bottom frame. We need to attach the heat bed to the frame using M3 by 16 and M3 by 4 thumb screws. So we've got some thumb screws. And Narabaduk, or Duak. Is that Duak? I don't know. How's it going? Is that a section of a battleship? It is a section of a ship, not a battleship. Give me a minute, and as soon as that other print ends, I will bring several pieces here and show off. All right, so we got 3 M3 by 16, 3 M4 thumb nuts as spacers between the bed and the frame. So now I need to find the bed, which I think is right here. There's the build plate. A couple other things out of the way so we can sit that down on the table. All right. Delta Flyer build plate. So, all right, there's the foam and stuff that we can get rid of. A little bit here. And we'll take a look at our build plate. So, this is a style, I'll say, a la the P0 build plate with the PEI build plate, so to speak. So we've got the Dark Rock 150D. Nice. The LDO and Rolahan design on it. This is a double-sided PEI build sheet. Put that over there. And then we've got our Mike 6 build plate with the magnet, very nice magnet, already installed. And this is what I'm referring to. So we've got our heater that is a kind of a, I guess you would call it a integrated circuit board style heater that's got a shield on it that's installed already. We've got the inline fuse. So one leg comes out to the fuse, is soldered together and covered with some heat shrink. Goes to one leg of the fuse, the other leg comes out to our Molex connector, and then the other leg of the bed heater comes into the Molex connector. The nice thing is if this fuse ever pops, figure out what the issue is, and you can replace this fuse. So one leg, you can just depin it, and the other leg, you'll just cut this off and resolder that or rejoin it to your preference. So yeah, very nice build plate. We've got 3 connections, so 1, 2, and 3. Does it kind of give us any indication? This is the front. Does it give us any indication here on what direction to set it? None. None whatsoever. Anybody out there has built one of these? Hey, Mad Scientist Slack, how's it going? If you like Delta printers, they're neat to watch. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Nice colors. Thank you, Pez Liz. This is Plutonic Purple and Nanotube Gray from, I believe, Fusion Filaments. So what I'm trying to do is see how this lays on here. And like I said, they did not give us any indication of which direction. However, seeing as how these connectors are here and going one way or the other, we have a motor mount here, or a motor here. So if we do like this, we'll have a spacer, which will pick it up a little bit. So I think having that connection going that way, with this being the front of the printer, right? This is the front of the printer. So I think that's kind of our direction. And what we're going to do is we're going to use this as a spacer. And yeah, that's going to fit right there. That'll fit there. That should be good. I'm going to take one of these, get our M3 by 16 screw going down in there with our spacer on two of them. And we'll kind of lay that in line there. I'll get these started down to where it's going to the magnet. And that'll give me the ability to come in here with my other spacer, get it lined up. And we'll get this one going. Once again, we're going to use these screws to kind of center that bed some. Make sure that all three are actually down into the metal surface before we tighten them down. This is going to be a fixed mounted bed, so we're just going to take those down nicely and snug them down. Hey, MakerMind Nexus, how's it going? Mad Scientist Slack, doing well, doing well. Great. Let me jump over to YouTube real fast. We'll just turn that off real fast while I take a quick look and see who's talking to me over there. MakerMind Nexus, thank you for joining both streams. Nice to see everyone. Hope you're all well. Smash that like button. Definitely smash the like button on whichever platform you're on. And yeah, looking good. I'm sitting down here showing my belly bulge here. Let's go over here and just say hi to everybody over on the main camera. So hi there, everybody. I see that a lot of people have been joining in on both sides. Yeah, so I don't know if there's ads live on, I think there might be some live ads over on YouTube. I'm not paying attention over there, but you should be able to skip those after a couple of seconds. Over here in Twitch land, there is an ad break that's built in. I think it's a minute or minute 30 of ads. If you're not subscribing, one way to get around that on the Twitch side of things is to use your free Bezos bucks if you're a Prime member and use that Prime subscription. But yes, I did hear the other printer sing to me. I'm going to let it cool down a little bit, and I will go and pull that print off, get the next print, and then I will bring a stack of prints over and try and lay them out over here on the bench, and you guys will get a interesting view of something to come. So yeah, with that, yeah, just welcome on in, everybody. I do want to take this time to say thank you all for being over here and supporting me on Twitch and YouTube. This is a weird stream time for me because, well, the day job is not calling today. It's a day for me, which aligns with President's Day, so it's another day off at the main day job. So I'm not sitting in the office working that job right now, which gives me a chance to come out here. And I worked on some printer repairs this morning, got another printer up and running, and I'm kind of keeping an eye on that because the filament that they brought with the printer is an old spool and it's tangled. It's always fun. Yeah, holiday here, so you're off as well. Exactly, MakerMind Nexus. So what we're doing is we're working on our Delta Flyer build. This is a Rollahan design, and this is an LDO kit that I did get from West 3D. I did have this shipped in from West 3D. So we did call out both of those in the announcement that this is a Rollahan designed, Rollahan and Conrog design, or Canrog design printer LDO kit that I personally purchased from West 3D using my affiliate link, which has popped up in the Twitch chat. Over on YouTube land, none of my, I still apparently need to recreate all of my notifications, my little blurbs about the merch, the West 3D, and all the affiliate links over there in YouTube land, so you guys can get those as well. You're hanging out in the garage working on some prints for others and going to your niece's volleyball game in about an hour. Nice, MakerMind. And I'm sorry, I know you mentioned it on your stream that you had to go pick up one of your daughters. Hope she's doing well. If I remember right, this is just a standard medical procedure that is going on for her. So I hope everything's going well there. And the drive out to get her and bring her home is all good. Thank you for the subscribe, Marble Dwak. Appreciate that. Yeah. So with that, you know, I don't want to bring up any of that personal, but I just wanted to say, you know, I'm here for you, brother. Hope everything's going well and that everything is just working its way through the medical system nicely. Right? There we go. Wednesday, you're going to get her? Okay, good. I just couldn't remember when it was that you were going to go get her. Yeah, hope things are going well when she gets home. I do agree with that sentiment. Yeah, we've had our share of scares lately as well. My oldest son last Wednesday had another seizure at the house. And when the ambulance got there, he seized in the ambulance, as well as when he first got to the ER, he seized again. So he is now on a full up, we're assuming epilepsy at this point, and he just went on epilepsy meds, which means he will most likely have his driver's license revoked because of it. So he's doing better, right? Like we've got him on meds and he's back home. I think it's going to change some of the other things because he's now not driving. He's working fully remote for his job, his main job, but he was working Starbucks on the side. And I think that's no more now, right? That's a no more thing now. Yeah. Hey, Projects and Diets Garage, how's it going? Hey, Printer Prawn, how's it going? You feel like the wall is going to crush all of us. This wall, it's really cool. I really love this wall, and I'm telling you, on the opposite side of this wall is a no kidding vault, right? We were under the impression that it was because the vault was here because of the paper. One of the main building occupants for decades has been a printing store, and they did print like bonds, actual bonds, not bond paper, but bonds, which meant that they would had to have had fumigation requirements and stuff like that to be able to fumigate and then ventilate the air in the vault to ensure that bugs and stuff weren't eating the paper, that the paper that came in didn't come in with bugs in it, right, and stuff like that. But when the fire inspector came through and looked at the building, he actually told us, like, no, they're like, Sanford, North Carolina was the banking capital of North Carolina for the longest time because it was kind of the midway point between all the tobacco fields down in South Carolina coming up to Virginia, where they also had tobacco as well, but they also did, that's where all the processing plants for like Marlboro and Winston and all the other cigarette brands are up in Virginia. So this was kind of the midway point, so it's a good place to stop as they're taking goods up there and delivering them, and then on the way back, it was a good midway point to stop. This is the big banking center between the two. And so, yeah, this was at one time, most likely, it also a true bank vault. But yeah, thank you all for the love. You know, yeah, the stuff with our kids are kind of scary. And at this point, I just turned 54 last week, which means my dad's 84. So all of our parents are in that 80s range, you know, late 70s, early 80s range. So yeah, I feel you know, the doctors suck. You know, the fact that I had to go to the doctors, 2 weekends ago for my back. Luckily, we did find out that it is just a back strain. So on your back, you've got two major large muscle groups that kind of flare out on each side. I strained this side. So they got me some meds, and we're working on that with just standard Tylenol and things like that. But the meds do make you a little sleepy as well. So time those meds right. Time those meds right. But yeah, with all of that, let me jump back over here. I am going to stay on just the bench camera versus the one with the manual because right now I have no real good way of monitoring both streams and both chats. So with a few more people jumping over there on the YouTube, I do want to try and monitor both chats. So I also don't want to like throw up the full YouTube window for the stream either when I jump back and forth. So we just mounted our build plate. Once again, very nice LDO, same style build plate that they did for the Kirigami plates or the plates for the V0 that you have the Kirigami frame for, and the ones that are being used on the Rooks and stuff. So nice little build plate. The PEI sheet that comes with this frickin' rocks as well. It does say it's a dark rock 150 diameter, so with the LDO and the Rollahan logos, double-sided with all the silk screening on it, so that's really cool as well. Very nice. Let's see, next up, Federized pre-assembled plug-and-play. Yes, it does. Install the motor covers and electronics panels. So this would be the lower deck panels that we're going to add next. I have those printed over here. And I'm now worried about some of these panels because there were two different sets. And I'm not sure if I printed the right set is kind of where I was going with that. So we've got 3 panels. 2 of them are 100% identical. One's going to be slightly different because of that cutout. We need to kind of decipher where that cutout goes. So in our manual, let me pull up that real fast. So in our manual view, which off that, you'll see that there is no panel clips. We're seeing the bare extrusion here. So that would be this extrusion here with the bare extrusion. And this would have the one spot for the magnet. So it's going to show as this being the spot with the cutout, which means that's probably where my bed wire needs to go. So our bed wire needs to probably go over here. So now I'm wondering if I need to rotate this like one rotation. And this way, so it would rotate possibly one rotation this way. We'll be fine. I'm just thinking we may wind up rotating the bed just so that the wire has more slack. But we'll see what all the overall wires look like. So these, again, are going to go there. This one has the cutout for this, which means it gets flipped over like that. Means rather than having the nice bed, we're going to get the nice top surface on these instead of the bed, whatchamacallit. God, words on stream sometimes. The bed texture. There we go. We're going to use M3x6 screws to hold these in place. And we'd have the C notch out over here. Once again, that's going to be where our bed wires are going to go down into. M3x6 screws. Button head type. Out. As we go through and do that, I'm going to think that so I can take a look over here at the other side and monitor chat over there. Hey, Layers with Lily, how's it going? Whoops. Hope you're doing well. Been a while since I've seen you. So I have heard your melodic voice on the socials and such. Yes, so this is Plutonic Purple and Nanotube Gray from our folks over at Fusion Filaments. I need to get some Nanotube Gray to fix the VZBot. I actually broke the monitor mount when it came in because of the way the monitor sits on the front of the VZBot. And I didn't break the display, but I did break the mount, so I had to get some Nanotube Gray to fix it. So I was like, well, if I'm ordering, I might as well order another color because I knew we were going to do this build. So we got the Plutonic Purple because I thought it just looked good. Hey, Town Drash. Thank you for the follow, son. Speaking of the sun, Town Drash would be that sun that we had mentioned. So yes, a little bit of scariness going on with him. The other son, I got an update from him. He apparently felt the need to drop a wall on his foot, and I do mean a wall, as in the wall shelf for one of the RVs that they were building. He dropped it on his foot. He decided to take a couple of days for it to fully swell up and get black and blue before going to the, and work those days, mind you, before going to the workman's comp clinic that they sent him to from work. And they did all the x-rays, said it's not broken. He sent me pictures today, and I'm like, there's no way that that is not broken. No way in hell. But whatever. So I told him, I was like, you really need to go to another doctor and have them review that. And he goes, well, they took all the x-rays. I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm telling you, I've broken my foot several times. And I can show you the pictures that he sent me today, and you would be going, yeah, there's no way that's not broken. But yeah, welcome on in, Town Josh. Thank you for the follow. Hope you're doing well and you're chilling and relaxing. Hope your other half's doing well as well. So there is an LED here. But yeah, there could be some LEDs placed down here, but there is a string of LEDs that comes in the kit. Not sure where they're going to go at just yet, but I'm sure they will be going somewhere. Yeah, so Town Drash, Eagle the Dragon was on here earlier. I don't know if he's still here. That would be your God. Uncle Eagle? Dad's wife's brother. Cousin or uncle? Uncle. God, yeah. Uncle Eagle. Trying to figure out family relations on screen. Yeah, uncle. Thanks. Thanks for the assist. It hurt my head some. Yes, you're still here. Yeah, so Eagle, the dragon, Towndrash just followed, and Towndrash is, is my oldest son that's down in Colorado Springs. Try not to use first names for a reason there, buddy. Okay, so the build plate's inside, and we've got the little notched area here as shown. We've got that back here that lines up with the notch in the base plate. So those are all screwed down. Now it wants us to install the electronics panels. These are the ones at the top, and they're marked, the marked text is going to go up. And once again, this is where I'm sort of concerned on whether or not I've got the right ones. So we see LED and A. This is going to go over the A slot. I believe it's going to go like that. There is a cutout, and that cutout's going to be aligning kind of next to where the end stop is, so that we can stick the wire down and loop it right over. So that one's going to go there. This is B. So that would be the B plate is going to go here. And this is the one that mentions the LED. And then the C plate's going to come over here. And I'm just going to, there we go. And you'll see that this is slightly different than, this C plate notch is different than the C plate notch that's showing there. And I'm also getting 1, 2, 3, 4 going from B. So those are matching up. Like I said, I'm not sure which plates I did. And there was 2 different plate styles in there. I just hope I did the right one. And hopefully this is just a slightly different cutout for a reason. Will it be a PEI sheet or glass? This is a PEI sheet. That is a magnet that's on there. And we've got a double-sided PEI, textured PEI that comes with it. It's got Dark Rock 150, the LDO and Rolahan Design logo on both sides. So it is a textured PEI on this. So we've got these installed, and these are getting installed with, that's the top electronics panels with the M3x6 screws again. So there's going to be another 12 of these. Leave these out for now. May have to go take a look at a printer real fast, because the one that's doing the test print is making noise that is a little bit disconcerting. And I'll also be able to grab that one panel off that I was telling everybody about, and we'll do a quick show and tell down here on the mat. So see if I can't get these screwed on real fast. Hey, DJ Midnight Wolf, how's it going? Thank you for the 3-stream streak. Are we not lining up on? Oh, we should be lined up. Maybe not going on there. I have to say, for being 3D printed, everything is lining up, and I do need to go because it just pulled filament. So okay. Basically, I'm having to babysit this spool because the filament has a well, one, it's old and it has a, let's say it, the slinky memory, so to speak, and it does have a actual oh, now it's 3-layer whatchamacallit, an over or a tangle with at least 3 layers of filament going over the top of the wire or of the filament itself. So yeah, taking a look at that. That one's still going. Nice. Pop that off the H2D and get the H2D going on the next multicolor print. All right, we'll come over and do some show and tell. We'll do some show and tell with this here in a second. Let's go ahead and finish putting the top panel on. Yeah, hopefully everybody's doing well. For those that are just coming in and those of you that are in the area, we will be having our first maker meetup here at Digital Dragon 3D. We had the Ecovate started up their 2026 maker meetups this past Sunday. We're going to do ours on March 1st from noon to 7. That is our store hours. And we're going to come in. We're going to have a little bit of a schedule where we come in, we have a meet and greet, and let everybody show up. And then we'll have a discussion time for about an hour and a half where the topic's going to be on material choice considerations for your 3D print. We've had lots of people come in with, looking at printers and talking about printer capabilities and material capabilities surrounding the RC hobby community, because we seem to have a lot of RC hobbyists in the area. So we're going to be focusing on that for this event, and we'll be talking about how 3D printing can be used to support various other hobbies, to include a little bit of a focus on the RC car hobby, and like material choices for bodies. Are you going to be painting your body, or are you just going to run the body as it is? Are you running race cars, or are you doing like RC, like a 3D sets RC or a Death Racer type thing? What material choice would make more sense then? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and we're going to set it right over here on the chair for a minute. We're going to lay out some parts. Let's see who picks up first on what we've got going here. Trying to remember which way this was going. That way? Still doesn't line up. This one might be further. Oh, look, we lost a foot already. How did you go together here? Did you line up? That's not lining up. So does this line up first? There we go. That lines up. That's making sense. So there we go. This over here. That one going to line up with this one, which will line up with this one. Let me just keep moving stuff out of the way. So boom, boom, boom. This is L4, so this is going to be the rear one back here. So this is the left 4. There will be a right 4 that goes along this side, and then there's going to be an end one like we have a front one. So this is going to be the top of the Titan 3D aircraft carrier. And oh, by the way, the bottom that makes the under chassis, there's a bottom deck that these will fit onto with pegs. And then some of these holes will be where we can place magnets, because there are planes, helicopters, jets, and other sorts, and drones and stuff that you can lay out on top of the deck in the superstructure. So it does have alignment pins, not for plate to plate, but there is a bottom deck that gets screwed together, and then these will sit on top of the bottom deck. And yeah, this thing is 45 inches long, so just about 4 feet long. So yeah, I've got 5 done. I think there's, I thought there was only 9. So there might not be a back one to this. I think this is the back. So I've got the other 4 pieces to do on the right-hand side, and this is going to give you an idea of the overall length. Right, and for those of you that are here and there, so this is a meter stick, and right now that's about 45. That'll be about 45 inches. I'd have to use the tape measure, and I don't know if that's in both metric and, do I get both? No, I just get inches on this. But yeah, that is 44, about 44 1/4 to the deck, but there will be more that sticks out past the deck. So yeah, this thing's going to be massive, and I love it. And there's a specific reason why we're doing this one. And you know, we're military. We're Air Force. We play with an Army guy and a Navy guy. So we'll let you know where, you know, that might give you an idea of where we're going with this. Especially when I tell you our Navy guy spent his entire career in a basement in Illinois. We got to show them what a boat looks like, right? Yeah, it's an aircraft carrier. It is an aircraft carrier. Hey, Liz, you're back. You're back. It's almost like you never left. Yeah, material consideration isn't talked about enough, and it's usually PLA, PETG. They do talk about it in cosplay some, and we'll talk about that as well. And especially, when is it better to use certain materials in cosplay? A lot of people are going to start off doing cosplay, and they're going to do, or props, and they're doing it in PLA, right? So here you go. PLA, right? Depending on the tolerance in the pistons, you may want a different material. You may use TPU for certain things, especially on the inside where your arm's going to be to enable longer wear times, right? But some of the gearing in here, should that be PLA? Should it be PETG? What would be the reason why we might want to do PETG on some springs, right? Because you can 3D print your springs and use PETG. You can always buy metal springs of a certain type if it's designed for it, which is Alex Geek Workshop, which is where that claw came from. He designs for both PETG springs and a metal spring. Well, if you're going to use a metal spring, do you want it attaching to PETG part? Do you want it attaching to a PLA part? What kind of part would you attach it to, right? As we're talking about the RC car places, or the RC cars, depending on the size and what part you're doing. Like I said, a body, maybe you do it in PLA because you're planning on, you know, it's a 4x4 and you're just running it around the track. And if it breaks, you don't want to be breaking, you know, a nylon and a more expensive piece, and you can go for a cheaper part. Or maybe you want to print it in ASA because you're not planning on painting it, which means you're not going to be doing a UV clear coat or anything like that on it. So maybe you want to print out of an ASA because you'll get your UV protection. Skid plates is another big one that people are trying to print in, and we can do skid plates. You know, maybe nylon's a better thing for your skid plates, you know, and things like that. So that's what we're going to be talking about. And it's not just going to be us lecturing. It's going to be us bringing up the conversation and having an interactive conversation about it, right? So, yeah, that's going to be fun times there. All right, we're going to jump back over here to do that, come back over here, and see where we're at. That on. Awesome. So we've got our top plate on. Like I said, our top plate, at least the C is a little bit different than what we're seeing. So we'll want to take a look at that. But this gives us our flatter side down here, which was the build plate side of things. So I may have to hit this with the heat gun just so that it looks a little bit nicer. Maybe. Or maybe not. You might not be looking at it. We're going to assemble and install the hot end next. Nice. We're going to attach the TR6 hot end mount to the effector using 4 M3x8 screws. You are screwing into plastic, so do not over tighten these. Always remember, when you're screwing into plastic, do not over tighten them. Whoops. There's our effector plate and our TR6 mount. Right? We need our M3x8 screws. Four of them. Looks like we're coming in from the bottom into these 4 here. And this piece is going to get aligned like so. Yeah, I'm just trying to hold it the way that it is showing it, so I'm sure that I am aligning this. Yes. So we'll grab this, we'll get that there. I'm not going to screw it in all the way, because once again, I want to get all 4 of these lined up and make sure that we're lined up all the way around. And then we'll bring it in tight. Once again, making sure that you're not over tightening. You just want to bring it snug. And when you feel the change in pressure, just stop. Don't keep going. All you're going to do is strip out the plastic, and then you'll have to reprint parts. All right, there we go. Whoop, 4 screws. There's our hot end effector plate. Now we're going to attach the TR6 hot end to the TR6 hot end mount using 2 M3x16 screws. 3x16. We need our hot end. Here. Okay, I'm just taking a look at this. I haven't looked at one of these before. So you do have a screw in the front that's going to hold your heat break in place. Leave that, I think, facing towards the front. This is going to slide in from the bottom. So then we're going to come in from the back, through it, and into the back of the heat sets. And I didn't see that these have some sacrificial layers that need to be popped out, so we'll pop those out. Need to clean anything up real fast so that we can all right. So once again, we want that to be accessible. Would not be accessible this way because of the fan, but going this way, we will have the accessibility behind this other fan. That's the right way to go. Come in from the back here with our M3x16s. They're going to go through the hot end and into our heat sets. And once again, thank you everybody for being here today. I know it's a slow day for many, being a holiday. A little bummed out that my local coffee shop is not open on Mondays, but then again, technically I'm not either. Open by appointment only on Mondays. All right, there we go. That's nice and snug. So we got our hot end going. And attach the 3010 fan using M3x16 screws. Make sure the sticker on the fan is facing towards the hot end. Okay, so grab our 3010 fan. We got a 3010, a 4010, and a 5015. 4010 is probably going to be for some electronics. 3010. What size screws? And 3x16s again. We're only doing 3 of the 4. Want to make sure that the label is facing inward. I don't know in which direction our cable should go. Does it give us any indication at all? Up them through the cable relief hole on the 5015. Probably going to do it out the side there, like that, along with our hot end pieces. Now what we're going to do, because our hot end is not assembled, we're going to pull this stuff out and need to get some of our hot end assembled here. Okay, so I have hot end. I have heat block. I have no actual there it is. A Triangle Lab one down here at the bottom instead of in the space where one would expect it. .4 looks like a standard brass or copper nozzle. That's screwed in all the way. This back on. And then this needs to go in here and get locked into place. Loosen that enough. That in there, and they said to bring this to the left. Wires to the left. So we go to the left and up and around here into the wire catch. Hey, Diablo Spawn, how's it going? Uh-oh, got pancakes. That sounds awesome. Tomorrow's Pancake Tuesday, Mardi Gras. Ah, nice. Yeah, we did, Mrs. Dragon normally does pancakes, and then Evil Diesel does French toast on Sundays. We go down to our local diner. Now that we got our hot end installed, we're going to go ahead and install our fan. This is going to go into plastic, so just make sure that you're stopping as soon as you get it down in there. We're only doing 1, 2, 3. We're not doing this bottom left one. And Spidey, we just restocked, I think it was basic black and jade white. Because one of your other friends here came in and bought a case of each the other day, so we had to restock. Letting you know that we did restock some. We still need to go and get some additional colors off your list, but we will be doing that. I've got a initial order for Cheaty. Getting ready to go to them. Okay, so there we go. We got our fan wire coming up. Got our heater wire coming around to the left and going up. Probably adjust that a little bit once we get our turnbuckles in, or the, I say turnbuckles, our turnbuckles in. There we go so far. Time to post AKE. RJ Repo Man, how's it going? How's it going? So I'm a little delayed to chat with people over on YouTube because I'm having to kind of jump back and forth between the platforms. I don't have a consolidated view of the chat just yet. Working on it. But yeah. So welcome on in. You're glad your coworkers are making their way to your store? I'm glad they are too. You just got your respooler all printed and electronics done and it works. Nice. Very nice. Okay, next up, we did route the hot end wires out the left side of the effector. 3010 wire, route them all through the cable relief hole on the 5015 fan mount side. We're going to attach the 5015 fan using the M3 by 20 screws. So you get the 5015 wire in that hole as well. We're going to have our 5015 fan. We need the M3 by 20 screws. Yep. Victory on a Monday. Always good when things come together on a Monday. Like I said, that's kind of how Monday's been going here. We've been, I came in this morning and worked on a couple of printers, got some printers going again. It was nice. Customer printers. And which way is this going? Go this way like that. That goes there. This we need to loop down and go back up. Loop down, go back. Missing something? Goes at an angle. Okay. Goes in an angle. Now that does line up. This is already above. Why would I bring this down and come back up? Add it to the grouping there. Because there is no other. Folks, always be careful when you're screwing down your 5015 fans. I don't know how many times I've busted or cracked these ears because you go too tight and they'll just kind of implode on you. There we go. So this piece comes down at an angle, which will allow this to line up with the screw hole. It's said to bring these down and back up. And I'm like, I don't know why you would do that. I would just link those two together because I'm assuming we're going to be putting a zip tie. Just do a little loop for strain relief, put your zip tie there, and you'll be good, right? I don't know why you put the 5015. Zip tying things together. Fan goes that way. This actually shows it coming up right across that. We'll be good there. And okay, we're good. I am going to put a zip tie right there for now for that strain relief. Got the zip ties. Might as well use them. I don't know if we got enough zip ties or not. I have to go get some from another stack. I can raise my volume. It's my voice. It's just me it's me talking quietly, nothing wrong with the audio. It's me talking quietly. Thank you there, Diablo Spawn, for saying something, because otherwise I would just keep talking in low volume. We just did a little loop right there, quote unquote service loop or a strain relief loop. That gives us pretty much same length on our wires. Pull it down even a little bit more, like I said, just to give us a nice good strain relief on that. Snip that tail off. There's our effector head so far. It has not told us to put on the fan shroud yet, even though it is showing the fan shroud there. Now it's going to tell us to bolt the tri-horn duct on with two M3x16 screws from the bottom. Find it interesting when people do the things that you can't. Well, we all can do the things. We all can do these things. It's just, like you said, oh, now I know why this looks funny. Because the piece broke. That would be why that looks different. Okay. Well, we'll see if that piece really needs to be there so we can acetone weld that back on. That's easy. Tri-horn duct. Going to go on here and we're going to screw straight down through it. Got some whatchamacallit, port's still in the way, so let me kind of knock some of that out. Yeah, I think they had called for supports on this part, and yeah, try not to do supports on your fan mounts because yeah, you'll get supports, and you've got to now figure out how to break the internal supports that it put into your fan mount out, but you don't get a disturbed airflow. I'm going to have to sit here and dig a little bit before I put this in place. Oh, yeah. So there's a bunch of support that just came out of the one side. Something just popped in like a, oh, if it was a thing where Windows is saying like, hey, I want some attention, or if that was somebody. One or the other. Can't get stuck in the middle. Pick a side here. Hey, there's a piece that's stuck over here. And it may just be stuck in there ever, seeing as how it's not, it's literally back here. It's not moving one way or the other. Could be a little bit less lazy and go dig out a set of picks. There we go. Hey, nothing rattling around now. So we got all of the ports that were inside out. Now let's go ahead and put our fan mount on. Might be where we have to reorient our wires for the hot end. Lined up. There we go. There's our hot end now. Hot end / effector combo. You couldn't do it well. I mean, there's times. There's times. Okay, bolt the effector to the carriages using the arms and the N12 or 12 M3x20 screws in the orientation shown here. So this is where we're going to have a pause because I still have not built my arms, and I'm going to have to build my arms. Install the extruder and PTFE tube. That will obviously get installed once the effector is mounted. Install rubber bands on the arms. Oh, that's interesting. So we're going to jump ahead and work on the electronics top cover because we're kind of stuck at this point. Partly because, well, I need to do those arms, and I have CA glue here. I don't have the epoxy to do them, and I'd much rather use epoxy to do it. So we'll hold off on doing those arms for now and installing that portion or doing that portion of the build for now. So we're going to work on these panels here. We'll have these 3 panels here. We're going to screw them together with M3x8 screws. It was M3x8, right? Yep, M3x8. Be one of those things where it might be easier to have the screw in the hole first, and we can hopefully screw it in because we'll have enough room to our tool in there. Here's the one. This one gets screwed into both sides. This one will get a little bit harder. Be easier if I had a ball and wrench. I just don't. Okay. Is it? So we've got those 3 panels put together. We need the M3x12s to four. And fan's going to be facing out, thicker on the inside. So I believe our going to be sucking in from the top and going down. So this is going to be sitting sort of like that, way, shape, or form. So we want the air to be coming, blowing down into. Once again, this does not give me an orientation for our fans, so hopefully it's good. And we are screwing into plastic. And we're only able to do 3 of the 4 holes. What's going on there? So that pulled the plastic apart. That's interesting. So we're only getting just a couple of revolutions. And this actually pulled a good chunk of the plastic out. Not sure if I'm going to be able to get this to come back. I kind of want to mount it from the outside, like have it up here mounted through. That's annoying. We were able to get that back out. It's going to be exhausting. Seeing how it's telling me telling us to do it, and we're going to do it a different way. It wants the air to blow down, and the only way to do that is to go like this and have it inside, or we can put this on the top like this, put in, there's a spot where we can put in nuts, and then we can screw it through the nuts. So that's what I'm going to do. One way or the other, we'll figure it out. 1, 2, 3 hex nuts. If I need to use some longer screws or whatnot, I'm going to figure out how to mount that. So those are there. We're going to come in through the panel. Through indoor. Here we go. That's going to be. That'll be better. Going to be pulling air from the top of the controller and blowing it out the top. Once again, this particular fan, we can only do 3 of the 4. So because the 4th one is where the wire is coming out at. There we go. So we've got an extra screw. Let's see, what else is it? Now it's time to glue in the 6 magnets on the top frame, keeping polarization in mind. So we'll have to do all the magnets on here. We'll have 6 on the top here, and then there will be magnets in the top here as well. So when we do our magnets, we'll just have to make sure that all of our magnets are aligned. And these will have to be glued in. Hey, Down Under Maker, how you doing? Don't need a lot. We just need a drop. Put the magnet in. And this is going to make a mess because way more needed. Sure, I had the right orientation. Put my fingernail to my finger. Got one of the magnets wrong in my build door handle. Yep. It happens. That's the downside. Means when we do these, we need to flip that stack over. All righty. Trying to use a paper towel, so as I shove these down in there, I'm sucking up whatever leftover PA glue is there. All right. So we got all those there. While I'm here, I know that there's at least 1 foot that went MIA. Actually, I had 2 feet that went MIA. 2 of our little nubby feet went MIA. Nubby feet, nubby feet. Don't know. We'll have to find the other nubby foot later. Either that or I'll thread the extrusions if I have to and screw in feet like normal printers. Yeah, I'll have to find something down the road there, Down Under Maker. So we skipped actually mounting the effector because, well, I still have to build those. I did print the part, but I don't have the epoxy because I left the epoxy at home because that's what smart people do. Just leave the epoxy at home. Install the Big Tree Tech DZ01 board and RGB strip. Okay. Recommend orienting it with the USB ports to the right towards the B corner. Okay, gotcha. And I also realized that this piece here, we busted off the little side nub on it, so I'll have to probably glue that or acetone weld that back on there. All right, BTT DZ board. Where did we put the motherboard? Big Tree Tech DZ01V0 or V1.0. Yeah, do the effector last. Yep, that's what I was thinking as well. But I was actually literally just haven't built the things yet. So there's your wireless antenna, jumpers and everything. I'll have to work on those. Board. Okay. So I see 4 jumpers on here. And there are 4 jumpers on the board. There's one other jumper. There's only one extra jumper. And that is most likely common to 5 volts. So that's providing 5-volt power. So that was most likely if you're powering it from the USB to do your initial flashing. Okay. These boards, as in this DZ01 board, are B2B and only available to the public at crazy high prices from Mali. Oh, wow. Interesting. Hey, thanks for the follow, Pezzy Fresh Prince. Let me turn that off real fast so that I can jump over here and look at chat on the other side. You're wondering why not many people were chatting here. Really, RJ Repo Man, it's just because I need to be able to jump. Yeah, I have to jump back and forth to monitor right now, and I'm gonna. Hey, Bexy Beans, how's it going? I'm gonna be. I was researching. There's something I can do. I've heard that just about every one of the chat aggregators sucks in its own way, but I'm gonna have to do something because, yeah, it's too much of a pain in the butt to try and go back and forth. And does this? Yeah, because this chat does not pop out of here. Oh, wait, pop out chat. Like, that's probably something I have to do each and every. That. Sorry, I'm playing around with chat at the same. Ooh. So that may be. Now I can see them both. And chat and we. Yeah, that works, but I'll probably have to do that each and every time I go to do this. Double check the jumpers, and before you fit the board, double check your in-stop wiring against the manual as it's directional. Vexy beans will be dipping in and out. Does depression be depressing? Yeah. Yeah, we're having fun building snazzy, cool things while we're doing printing, and I've got 3 different printers going. One is for a customer. We're validating that his printer is back up and running after I did a brain transplant. And this one just finished. So we've got another piece of the aircraft carrier done. So we'll get the next piece going because, well, it's big. So we are literally printing out like big parts, and there's a lot of these big parts. Quite a lot of these big parts. So if I run off screen to try and restart a print, please forgive me, but there's a lot of big parts. Multi hours. Okay, so we've got our DZ1, and I believe you were saying double check the jumpers. Like I said, there are jumpers on all 4 motors. I don't know if they're supposed to be there. Like I said, I have never seen this board before. I would assume that these 4 jumpers would most likely be for sensorless homing since they're lined up with the motors. Wiring and clipper installation. Remove any jumpers plugged into the board. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Or jumper. Consider labeling the motor wires to assist in identifying them. Hot end and bed wires have no positive or negative orientation, can be random. Okay, that's good. Hey, Bearded Printer, how's it going? Welcome in, welcome in. All right, so, and thanks, John Doe. KB3D is getting that board. They're getting this board in? Nice. An H616 board, which is interesting because most of these boards are STEM32 based. So to get an H616 board is pretty interesting. 2.4 only on the whatchamacallit, wireless. Interesting connector there. Oh, we had another jumper over here. I wonder what that was for. We'll go ahead and pull that one as well. So all jumpers have been removed from the board. So what we got? We've got RGB strip, Extruder, motor C, motor B, motor A. Hot end, bed, power in. Wi-Fi 10, of course. Hot end sensor, base, bed sensor, controller fan, part fan, hot end fan. And then our end stops are A, B, and C. I'll have to make sure that they're wired correctly. Huh. So interesting, there's a switch on here by the USB-C connector that lets you switch between two-piece RP2040 or one H616 RP2040. This must be using the H616 as the main controller. And then over here is your RP2040, which acts as the MCU. And it looks like there's an option to run two RP2040s. One as a Linux side and one as the MCU side. Got a rest E button, so a reset button over here. We have a button over here for, looks like the boot button over here. Got a boot and reset button for the H616, a reset button for the RP2040. Lot of interesting little things on this. Okay, stop looking. We've pulled everything. We're going to have to start adding some things, but it wants us to mount the Victory Tech DZ board with M3x6 screws. So that is what we shall do. And once again, it says to orient it so your USBs, your Ethernet and everything are going towards the B pillar. Bring a little bit. So we're going to orientate it so that all of your ports and stuff are facing the B pillar. And these are going to secure down into the printed part. Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe it's just like before, you just peel off the top of the printed part. All right, did I bring? I thought I had brought my apps and thought I brought my taps and my reamers. Apparently, if I did, I hid them from myself. I'm going to say it might be easy enough just to tap threads into that, but if I don't have my tap, here, one more try and thread one of these, and if it pulls through and just shreds the print, then I'll have to That one's pulling the print apart as well. So I'm going to need to try and tap these or reprint them. Yeah, because I was just shredding this out, trying to do that. So let me can't mount this yet. We're gonna, like I said, we're going to need to the other that go in there. Yeah, we're going to need to try and tap these holes because otherwise I'm just going to tear up the printed part, and that'll lead to a different issue and having to reprint those parts again. Which I may do in a different color. We'll see. That Fusion Filament's Nano Gray, I'm I love the color, but I'm not sure about this new formulation. I'm not sure about the new formula. So I think, change the view. So I think at this point, we're about a little over 3 hours in. I think we're going to be good for today. Yeah, I think we're going to be good for the day as far as this. We've made plenty of progress. We've got all 3 of our carriages belted. We've got all of our frame put together. We've got the top and bottom plates. We've got the build plate added. We've got the effector pretty much started and good to go here. So this is, there is no, rephrase that. This is a Bowden style setup. So the extruder will be mounted on the exterior of the printer. It will not be mounted on the effector. So I think we made pretty good progress. I need to remember to bring my epoxy so that we can build our arms. And I think we're getting close. I think we are getting close. But I see one of my neighbors getting ready to come in, so let me go ahead and call the stream. I will see you all next time. Thank you very much. Bye now.